Not just what you talk about, but the words you use and the tone of your voice.
Pas juste ce dont on parle, mais le ton que vous utilisez. Le ton que vous utilisez.
We say in yogic terms where you're coming from. In English, oftentimes people will say, I don't know where he's coming from. From a yogic point of view, it's which chakra are you speaking from?
Et chez les yogis, on se demande de quel chakra vous parlez.
Or energy center.
Ou des centres énergétiques.
Yogi Bhajan, our teacher, my teacher for 43 years, he said, match them at the chakra they're at, and then elevate them if they need to be elevated.
Yogi Bhajan.
And for instance, if you meet somebody that's just coming from their sexuality, from their second chakra,
Par exemple, si vous avez quelqu'un qui arrive de son deuxième chakra, la sexualité,
and you know in your heart they're not really totally happy to just be there all the time, you would meet them there so not to threaten them, and then help lift them up to their navel and their heart. So for instance, if you're talking to someone who just, he doesn't meditate, he doesn't believe in too much, he just kind of works hard and kind of negative and not a real happy person, you wouldn't just start talking about God and the ethers and quote Rumi and just talk about, we call it airy-fairy stuff. Because he would think you were crazy and walk away. So if your intention was to serve and to help him,
donc si votre intention est de servir et de l'aider,
then you'd find a way to speak to him that he could hear you.
alors vous trouvez un moyen de lui parler pour qu'il vous entende.
So much when we speak, we just like to hear ourselves.
D'habitude, quand on parle, on aime s'entendre nous-mêmes.
So truly, the art of speaking is first the art of listening.
Donc vraiment, l'art d'écouter, c'est vraiment l'art de parler, c'est l'art d'écouter d'abord.
And the intention for someone of consciousness would be, how may I serve this person in this conversation?
Et l'intention pour quelqu'un qui est de conscience, c'est comment je vais servir cette personne dans cette conversation.
And so, that is really one of the beginnings of becoming a conscious person, is the words that you speak. In many of the scriptures, and I know in the Kabbalah, all the way to all the Indian teachings, to even Christianity, that slander is one of the biggest.
Dans les écritures
It's like gossip. It's like speaking
slander
ill.
is gossip.
Yeah.
Donc parler du gossip, du blablabla, du commérage,
Will never take you to happiness and peace. It's impossible.
le commérage ne vous amènera jamais au bonheur, à la paix, à la béatitude.
As you become more conscious and more clear in your yoga and your meditation practice and whatever else, you'll get little red flags or little notices will come up when you're speaking ill of somebody. It won't feel, well, in other words, when you were asleep and you hadn't started a path of consciousness, you could say and do anything because you were asleep. But then as you grow in consciousness, in a sense, the path gets more narrow of perhaps what you could do before that you thought nothing was wrong with it, to what now you know your consciousness says to do. And as you go along, you want to refine your speech, like what words do you use?
Donc d'être conscient d'utiliser quels mots j'utilise pour ma communication.
How does it sound, your voice? And where is it coming from? Is it coming from your heart? Is it coming from being afraid? we find that when we go out into the world, in order to get work and earn money and have friends, we want to make a good impression. And so we display perhaps our more professional or better side. And then maybe our communication is as we think it must be. But then when we go home at night with our mates or in relationship with others, we kind of act differently. Is that true sometimes?
Est-ce que c'est vrai des fois?
Like if you're angry at work at your boss, if you would yell and say how you felt, you would probably get fired. And then when you get home, you close the door and you take it all out on your wife or your husband or your children or whoever you're with because you think you have that freedom. However, as you come into consciousness, you don't even have that freedom for being that way, even behind your door in your home. That's where having a daily practice of yoga and of meditation and all the other things you might do to help you will create a better way to not continue that habit. So as we go through today's Kriya, it will help unlock perhaps even things from your childhood that causes you, when you see somebody, you often don't see that person. Let's just say you're married and you get mad at your partner. You often aren't really mad at that partner. You're mad at your father or your mother when you were under 7 years old. So Kundalini Yoga has the gift of taking out that which you keep reacting to. Because a lot of things that you've held in your cells in a memory will come up. But the beauty of it, if you don't stop to analyze it or do therapy on yourself, it'll just go away like the wind is taking it away. So, shall we begin the journey? Thank you all so much for coming. It's actually the first time that we have been teaching in Paris. And through the beautiful invitation of Tanya, we have come to be in this beautiful Shambala center. So we're very, very happy and feel very blessed to be here.